How long have you been in it?
So it's only been about a year for me, actually. I dove in. I've had friends trying to get me into this since high school. And it started like really getting into it with my son's friend and Tacticus. And then one of my coworkers, who's an Adeptus Mechanicus guy, kept coming in and he's like, I know you really like the orcs. And so he started just lore dropping on me. And then, I was telling my son and his friends, I'm like, listen, I don't have time to play video games. I'm cleaning, I'm working, I'm busy. And they were like, oh, you're just not good at it. So then I had to get on and make an account on Tacticus to be better than them. And then they're like, oh, well, my mom's better than you. So then I had to be the best in the guild. And like, obviously. And then so after I completed that and I was like, okay, I'm done. I proved my point. Went in to buy a birthday present for Space Marines, and that's when I picked up my orcs. So
Oh, amazing. And what drew you to the orcs in particular?
they've always been my favorite fantasy race since I was a kid. So it was an instant like draw.
Yeah, yeah, that one hooked you from the start. Um, and for anyone that's not kind of looked into the orcs heavily or looked into the lore really heavily, what is it for you that really makes them unique and pop out?
Yeah, so they were developed for warfare. They were specifically designed to like fight the Necrons. They've evolved since from the Quarks, but they're also just really unique idea for an orc. They're not as humanoid as they are in various other fantasies. They're fungal, they're really interesting, and they would be absolutely a pain in the butt to attempt to eviscerate. There's no way you ever could. So that coupled with all of their psychic energy and everything else that they do just makes them really interesting and fun.
I love that. That is really awesome. And what's your favourite kind of snippet of orc lore? What's the bit that always makes you happy?
That they're like a perfect engineered ecosystem, not just like a creature. So like they were completely perfectly bioengineered to be self-sustaining, and I think that that's the most interesting part.
Love how much knowledge you've got on them. It's absolutely amazing. And is there a particular kind of orc character that you think needs more love and attention, or their backstory is just your favourite, or anything like that?
Yeah, Nogrock Sneaky Guts. He's my favorite orc. He is in exactly one book, Catachan Devil.
Nice.
And you watch him go from a commando all the way up to war boss in that
Oh,
time.
wow.
And he's so interesting because he's one of the first orcs that you really see that's thinking very tactically and that's arguing with his war boss continuously, even though like he gets his butt kicked every single time. I determined it was like he was named Nogrock, as in his noggin is as hard as a rock because he's not going to give up on what he believes in. I love that character.
That is really cool. I need to look into him more. I don't think I've heard of him before. And what's your favourite clan out of the
The
orc?
Blood Axes.
The Blood Axes. Very nice. Is there a particular reason for that?
So when I first started, I thought it was going to be like the Bad Moons or the Goths, honestly. And I love all the orc clans. I can find something I love about all of them. But the Blood Axes are the most cunning and they're terrifying because if you were to cross orcs with tactical intelligence, there's no way anyone else could ever win. And so they're showing that growth of intelligence and really giving the Imperium a force to be reckoned with because part of the reason Gazkul is so well-rounded and doing so well is because he has his tactical strategist is a blood axe. So they know enough about the humans to be able to, determine what they're going to do and understand them enough to be able to fight them better. And I think that that's showing this evolution that's going to be really terrifying in the future.
I can see that. That is awesome. And what makes them, because I find they really stand out to paint as well. What for you makes them like standout models to paint?
Oh man, they have so many little intricate details, which is actually my friend Goth's least favorite part about painting them, is that there's so many little tiny details. So there's also all sorts of neat, interesting little gubbins on them that you can find and each one's very unique. So you're not painting the same thing over and over again like you are with these Space Marines, but there's always something different on the orcs. And they have a lot of really interesting skin space. So you get this like chance to practice textures and muscle and light. So
Yeah, throw some tattoos on them, bits and bobs like that. Definitely, 100% agree with you. That weird boy in the new box as well. one of the best models I've seen. Yeah, 100%. I think as well. So I've seen from some of your videos, you actually work with paint, which is absolutely awesome. And I think, does that give you a bit more of an insight, do you think, into how paint works in terms of modeling and miniature art?
Absolutely. I think that it was easier for me to start in on this because I understand how the paint's going to react with the substrate, so the plastic. I know how the paint's going to react with each other based on what the coating is, whether it's a water-based acrylic enamel or whether it's solvent-based. And so I know how to layer them and in what order to do these things because I know how the paint's going to perform.
Awesome. And is that kind of your role? Is it kind of like testing paints, or what's your kind of role within it?
So my role is a really interesting hybrid position. I manage consumer products for a coatings manufacturer. So that's everything that's going to get into the hands of consumers. I manage the distribution channel and all of those accounts. I manage the branding, the labels. I work with marketing. I do testing. So I'm a product manager and I do like the marketing and sales piece as well. So it's a lot. It's about I want to say a fifth of our business.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So you've got your kind of hands in all of it to a degree then in terms of that. That's
Yes.
amazing. And so obviously, what actually makes paint behave differently from one to the other?
Would you in branding or in like the makeup of
yeah, I suppose like in branding, like obviously we hear so many people go, I use Vallejo, I use Citadel, I use this kind of, like, do you have an understanding of what makes that difference for different brands?
Yeah, so a lot of them are really good now compared to where they were 20 years ago. But I think it's just basically how much pigment load is in there, what pigments they use. So for example, in white, you can use calcium carbonate and that's used in Tums and stuff like that. Or you can use titanium dioxide and that's the whitest white. And so, Pro Acryl's titanium white is really good because it's made with titanium. So it has better hide. It's brighter. Whereas some of the other ones will use calcium carbonate. It really just depends on, so they're all using water as the vehicle, at least with most miniature paints. But it's how well they're suspending their resin system and their pigments within their vehicle, which is the water, to make it flow really well. And a lot of these guys have got it to where like those thinner paints, right, they self-level better, they take longer to dry. And so because of that, it's going to fill into all the crevices like it needs to. But really, the reality of it is what I've noticed is some of them have things that are better than others, right? Some of them do better bright colors than others, but they're all pretty close. And you can do exactly what you want to do with any brand's paints as long as you know how to thin it properly and what brushes to use.
That's so fascinating. I could hear you talk about paint all day. It's really, really interesting. And in terms of kind of, I think some people hear the words like pigment density and opacity and mediums, and it can sometimes get a bit overwhelming. Could you like explain them in simple terms for people?
Yeah, so pigment is what makes it colorful. So that is the additive that goes in the paint that makes it a certain color. Some are organic, some are man-made. Those fluorescents, those are organic. Bright colors like reds and yellows are organic, so they don't actually cover as well. So across the board, yellows and reds will not cover nearly as well. Thank you so much as, all of the other colors, that exist, right? Black, white.
Yeah.
When it comes to opacity, so that basically means how well it blocks what's behind it. So if it's opaque, you can't see through it. And then you have translucent, which means you can kind of see through it. And then transparent, which means you can completely see through it. And then the medium is literally just the vehicle that is the solvent that used to suspend everything in it, which is water most of the time.
Which is why water helps you thin it and things like that.
Right. Yep.
Amazing. And is there kind of like a common painting myth you'd like to kind of debunk? Is there something that everyone thinks is true and actually it's really not?
There's a lot. The biggest one that I would think would matter is that primer needs to be a complete full coat, and it does not. Primer exists to grip on to things so that the paint will adhere to it. And you typically need primer with plastic. Nothing really wants to adhere to plastic. So you don't need a fully perfectly coated model. You could have it like a fog coat or a mist coat, where it kind of looks like a bunch of speckles, and it's still going to allow the paint to adhere. I mean, obviously you would want to do as best as you can to have even coatings, but it's one of those things where you're like, well, you don't necessarily need a primer in most applications for paint. If you're painting a wall that's already painted, you don't necessarily need a primer, but your top coat's only going to be as good as your bottom coat. So you could try to put whatever you want over the top of something that's peeling, and it's just going to come up anyway.
Right. So it's almost like it almost gives it a texture for the paint to grip onto, is what the function of the primer. Ah, nice. That's really awesome. And is there any mistakes that kind of really make you cringe from understanding paint on that level perspective that you see people do or newbies make, that if you could tell them would just make the world a difference?
They leave their light on in their display case 24/7, 365. That is going to wear down your color of your paints, because those light boxes typically use daylight settings to show the actual, like, because there's metamerism, etc., how light affects paint, right? So it has that daylight setting to make it look as good as possible. Well, if you leave that on all the time, that's going to wear your paints, like the UV resistance of your paint is going to wear over time. Your colors aren't going to be as vibrant. And putting a top coat over that is not going to stop the UV from damaging your paint. The varnish on top is just for you if you drop it or if you're handling a lot on the tabletop.
That's really interesting. And is there anything you think that every painter could do to just improve the way their paint works?
They need to slow down. Let it dry. I know it's hard. I'm so impatient. You got to slow down. If you want to have a good paint job, you need to take your time. You need to allow the coating to dry and cure properly. And dry to touch is different than cured. So it could be dry to touch and not fully cured for 24 hours. So you want to give yourself space and time in between it. Paint just for the enjoyment of it, not to get it done. And I know that's really hard for a lot of people. But if you paint just to paint and just to enjoy it, you're going to have a much better time and a much better model at the end.
I think that can often kind of separate those kind of levels, can't it? Of when people, me and my friend often say the difference between us and some of the people we aspire to be is that they let their paint dry. Exactly. It's a big mistake so many people make. So you're touching on as well. So I know you've made a few videos about kind of being a woman in this hobby space, and it's something that I really like to touch on in these episodes because I really love to add to visibility and inclusivity. Thank you. Great time. That's the first time that's tripped me up. Well done. I'm impressed. So what's been your experience been like as a woman in the miniature painting kind of community and hobby space?
As a woman in the miniature painting and community, it's been awesome. I gotta say, like, there's a huge misconception that like the men who have nerdy hobbies are like gross and weird and creepy, and they're totally not. Like, I've traveled to multiple states. I've gone to multiple different game stores and just stopped in there, and it's always been a really positive experience. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't happen, but the hard experience I have had has been more from being a content creator than just doing Warhammer. Everybody in the Warhammer shops that I visited has been super supportive and helpful. We had people at our 11th edition game for the Armageddon coin, right, that were assisting us and that were helping like monitor the game and the rules and all that as we're all learning 11th edition, right? And so it's been a very positive experience for me. I haven't had, and this is way different than like in the 90s and stuff when I was playing D&D for the first time. But my experience in the game store has been significantly better. And I really want that to be noted because I still see those jokes are like about the weirdos in the game shop. And I'm like, not really with Warhammer. You just really don't see that. Those guys are restricted to online hating comments on your videos instead.
So you find it's more kind of, do you think it's more sort of trolling that you've experienced? Yeah, I feel very much the same in terms of when we actually go into these spaces as a male or a female, they seem very neutral, don't they now? Which I think is real great progress. And I mean, you touched on there about how it changed from the D&D scene that you were in before. Kind of in what ways do you think it's changed and progressed?
I think it's a lot more open now. I think it's less weird. Like when I was younger, it was weird to play video games. It was weird to play Magic. Now it's become so mainstream.
Yeah.
And I don't see a problem with that. I know there are some people who do because they're still hurting from the past where people were mean to them and stuff. You got to let that go, right? Let the next generations pick it up and enjoy the game. The whole point is the love of the game, right? And in all of these games, you have to have friends to play. I mean, you can't play by yourself. So it's nice to see. Like, I'm like, man, I wish it was as easy for me in sixth grade when we were part of the nerd herd, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like everybody does it, and it's cool. Like I talk to kids' parents at the middle school and stuff. We're gonna do a Warhammer club for the kids at the middle school. Teach them how to paint, get them to work with each other, get them to like get those creative juices flowing, get off the computer screen or off their iPad. But yeah, it's much more accepting. There's still people who are angry about it and are holding on to some really deep-seated childhood anger. And we just need to feel sad for them and let them have their place. And then the rest of us can continue to play with everybody else. Like, we want to bring people in and get the hobby exposed, because the more people that buy this stuff, you guys, the more they're going to keep making it. I want more books. I want movies. I want all of that. Right.
Totally agree with you. Really, really well made points. And is there anything that you'd still like to see, kind of any misconceptions or anything you'd still like to see disappear at all?
I guess I just want more people to feel like they're comfortable to go in there, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one in there is going to be outright mean to you or crappy. Like, that's a very rare occurrence. These are great. Very rare occurrence. And if you have any questions or you're concerned or you're nervous, like, please feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about it. Because I walk in there like I own the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just maintain that confidence. You're going to be all right. It's not scary to go into the game store, right? It shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah. And is there any kind of advice within that you would give a woman who maybe is thinking, oh, like, I've heard these things from previous generations, or anything like that you'd like to say to them, sort of thing?
Take a friend with you. And be okay. People like to be helpful, especially in spaces like this. It's okay to not know what you're doing when you're in there. Go in there and be like, I have no idea what this is all about. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, I've been told to get into this. I don't know anything about it. What do you want to tell me about it? And I allowed the people that were in there to come and teach me, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to pick up models. I'm going to get all the stuff that I need. And then I'm going to figure out where to go from there. When I couldn't find the lore and stuff I was looking for, I made it for everybody. I went and read all of the books. I made a book list. I didn't want to just look up things online because that's how things are wrong. I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure it all out from the canon point of view. I went and got old codexes, all that old stuff, so that I could learn about it. And so, like, it's okay to not know, because everybody in there is so excited about Warhammer that they want to tell you everything about it. They are going to tell you the whole history of the Horus Heresy over and over again. So
I love that so much. And have you found, like, with the community online, I would say from a TikTok perspective, which is where I normally sit myself, I find it really positive, and a really, like, welcoming space. Have you found that as well, or is there kind of any times you've not felt that, or do you think it's just been kind of all the love?
Oh, it's super welcoming. Most of, like, my rough comments and stuff have come in from Facebook or Instagram. TikTok is really super, like, it's no BS. It doesn't play with that negative comments. And the funniest thing is like, sometimes I'll go to check my hidden comments and I'm like, okay. And it's just a bunch of orc speak. It's filtered out because it thinks that it's like somebody's insulting me and they're just like, wah, and I'm like reading it. I'm thinking I'm going to get these mean comments, and I
get
just
yourself ready for the trolls. And then it's,
right. Yeah, there's been like a few, and it's like, it's kind of cute, and kind of funny. I'm like, you guys can try, but many men have tried and failed to get me to shut up, and it's just not going to happen. Like, just don't watch my stuff, man. Like, but like for the rest of it, it's been really positive for the most part, which is why I keep doing it, right? It's fun. I get to engage with everyone, teach people stuff. I love inspiring people. And so hearing that come back and be like, thanks to you, I got orcs. Thanks to you, I feel comfortable showing off my models. That's awesome. That's what I want to be here for.
Totally, absolutely. So in terms of kind of like painting style, what's your favorite? You said you liked the details and things like that. What's your favorite things to paint on orcs? Is it the rust? Is it the skin? Kind of, where's your favorite bit?
The skin.
Yeah.
I enjoy the skin. Yeah, I do. I mean, one of my best friends has told me like forever. He's like, "Man, Sam, if creatures like that were real and they had like green, blue, or purple skin, like that would be your ideal like partner, right? You would date somebody with great skin." And I'm like, it's just so pretty and so different and interesting. And so there's so many different ways that you can make orc skin. And so I'm still playing with it and getting like the best like recipes for like the undertones and all that. It's super fun. I also really like the weathering part. I did an entire weathered stampa and painted each panel separately. It took forever. But I think that the orc skin is probably my favorite. That and the leather.
I like that. Those are good shouts. And do you have any like kind of particular techniques or styles that you really enjoy to paint?
Yeah, I think his name is Brush and Banner. I could be wrong on that. He did a really good tutorial on like verdigris, on rust, and on leather when I first started. I really like to layer the colors, very thin coats, and get that nice like blend in of like that realism. But it's still going to be like fake, right? Because they're orcs. But I enjoy like those like mid bright, vibrant tones with the like rust added on there as well. So just the contrast of orcs is exciting and nice, and so it makes it something pretty to look at on the table.
Totally, 100% agree. I do think they're one of the more fun things to paint. If you could only use 5 paints for the rest of your life, what 5 paints would you use?
Lead Belcher,
Yeah.
number 1. That's my favorite silver. Yellow green, jade, coal black, and Rhinox hide.
Ooh, nice colours. Very, very nice. And do you have any kind of like the one painting tip that would instantly improve most people's models if they're struggling and starting out?
Take good care of your brushes and slow down. Use a smaller brush than you think you need.
Yeah, definitely. And which miniature are you most proud of? What's the one you look at and go, "Oh, I made this."
I made an orc warboss with a little gunner grot on the top for a giveaway that went to Orion's Belt Minis. And to date, that is still my favorite miniature that I've painted. I was so proud of it.
That one.
Yeah. I'm like, look, I got the face. Like, we got some highlights in there. All the teeth are actually painted. Like, that one was fantastic.
I love that. That is really cool. And is there, on the kind of flip side of that, is there a model that you painted and every step of the way it's fought you?
Yeah, my Stompa, it still leers at me from the display case because it was not only a mech test to build it with the way that the instructions are. I cut myself multiple times. Blood, tears, sweat went into that thing. But also just like trying to figure out how to weather metal properly and to make it look like it was pulled out of the swamp, for the tetanus boys. I'm like, I took this on way too soon into my painting journey and I don't know what I'm doing. And so that one took me about a month to complete.
Yeah, that sounds intense. Do you remember what your first model that you ever painted was?
Yes, it was a set of knobs.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They're terrible.
Everyone's firsts are. Everyone looks at their first. I look at mine and think she got dragged through a bush backwards. It was terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So yeah, obviously I think a lot of people see you as quite a figurehead in the community, especially in terms of Warhammer. Is there kind of like a most common question you get? Like everybody asks you.
Why orcs?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good question. And is there anything you wish people would ask you more often?
I mean, I want people to feel more comfortable trying to get to know me as an individual too. I want to be like an approachable person. I plan on going to events and things like this. Like I want people to not be like, I want them to come and say hi and get a picture with me to put on my wall and stuff like that. I'm a human. It's crazy. I know. Whenever I say that, all of my followers are like, no, you're not. You're an orc. And I'm like, okay, well, still a blood axe, right? But just like feel free to communicate with me about like the world. I have a wealth of knowledge that isn't just orcs and paint, though those are 2 things that I lean heavily into because I know a lot about them. But yeah, I mean, I'm an open, like I'm not, um, scary all the time. Just sometimes.
You're not an
So
unreachable person, is what you're trying to say. Kind of, yeah. I love that. Yeah, because I mean, I remember when I very first started on TikTok with less than 100 followers, you were one of the people that was able to be reached out to, and I think that's really kind of commendable of you.
I want people to get into it with me and play orcs. It'll be fun. So
Absolutely, very very cool. So what's kind of next for you? What's your big project that you're going to work on next that you're really excited about?
I'm almost done with my power claw. Almost
Nice.
done painting it. So I'm excited about that. And I ordered some more stuff for like my costume now that I've decided how I want to go about like, my actual like dress up for orcs, right? Just because it's fun. And then I've got something for Halloween and events and videos and whatnot. Super stoked about the power claw. Very excited about the camo I've been doing on my commandos. I found this really cool 7-minute tutorial on YouTube and it is perfect. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can paint camo. This is great. Other than that, I have a lot of orcs to build.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. So I feel like there is enough people in here that your questions are probably going to last a while. So are you happy for us to do the speed round and then go on to comments questions?
Sure. Yeah.
Amazing. So your speed round, are you ready for this? Because I don't actually warn people about these questions. They're a bit on the spot. So tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee, good choice. Your favorite takeout?
Go God. Papa's Pizza.
Nice. Buggy's favorite weapon?
Oh no. His mind.
I like that. Like that a lot. Building or painting?
Oh, building.
Building, nice. And finally, does red actually go faster?
Yes.
Cool. I love it. So we are now open for comments, questions. Thank you so much for answering all those questions for me. And you've already got some. I knew this was going to happen. So if you was wording on that threw me up. If you was in the 40k, would you be an Orkney?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for all the gifts. They're very much not expected. On to the next one. I've opted to do my orcs as bad moons. Do you have any advice on painting them?
Go for flashy. Yellow is a bad moon's color. Don't sleep on gold, man. They love it. They're rich. Yeah. Think of them as hoity-toity, high-end nose in the air.
Nice. I love it. Would you describe yourself as brutally cunning or cunningly brutal?
Cunningly brutal.
Nice. KB asks, favorite orc faction and why?
Oh, the blood axes. They's cunning. They're smart. It's extra scary.
Cunning boys. What is the answer to the universe? Asked Polar Badger. Agreed. That's the only correct answer. Is the Warboss going to Adepticon? Asks Nerdbreeze.
Yes.
Nice. That's very exciting. Val says, blood for the blood god. So St. Anger asks, just for fun, what's the most British 40k faction in your opinion?
The orcs.
Is it particularly the Bad Moons? No? They got old teeth, says Hive Tyrant. Soup Dude says, what do you think about those who paint Gaz as a bad moon?
Gaz is a goth. I think he would be offended.
6742. What vehicle would you have going into battle? I like that question, Deadshot. Very nice.
Stompa.
Nice.
Give me a big tank, big stompy tank.
The biggest thing they got. Dink asks, what advice do you have for someone who is tempted to collect orcs and where to start?
Oh man, start easy. Give yourself a break, get some boys. Just get a pack of boys and go from there. Definitely.
I started with some Gretchen.
You're so little. You need boys.
I needed something bigger. Would you diverse into Age of Sigmar orcs?
Oh yes, I already have a couple. Yep, I love them.
They are
Absolutely.
cool. What's your favorite biscuit? Stink.
Like a cookie?
Yeah, that's
Gingerbread.
Oh, nice. I haven't had that answer yet. I like that answer.
Absolute favorite.
If I was to paint you as a commando, what color camo would you have?
Classic woodland BDUs. Your very classic 90s camo. Yep.
This life has been colonized, says an anchor. Anonymous says, do you drink the paint to tell if it's suitable for the orcs?
Of course.
It's like the old-fashioned poison testers.
Like, oh yeah, that's definitely gonna kill somebody. Like, I was told specifically when I was hired here to not drink the paint. So
really? I don't know. It feels like a disclaimer they might have, which is a bit worrying.
we have an additive for acetone that makes it smell like cake.
Oh.
For one of our customers, and so every time I'm walking through the factory and they're utilizing it, I'm like, it smells like cake. I just want to.
Gonna have to go get cake on my break. Oh, I love that. Lost comments again. Where did we get to?
I love you, Frankie.
KB says that he didn't realise that Gaz couldn't be painted as Bad Moon until he started painting him yellow. He was trying to defend himself.
You can paint him whatever you want, man. I just feel like he'd be offended. Dubious asks, thank you guys, what would the Warboss like to see added to the orcs? I want a Warboss that's a weird boy.
Nice.
That's what my Warboss is, and you haven't seen it yet. I think that would be incredibly terrifying. So
yeah, that would be awesome. I love the weird boy that they've come out with. I could paint 100 of them, I think. If you could own any vehicle in 40k as your personal vehicle, what one and why?
Stompa also. Just give me the big stompy beast, dude. So good.
Marty asks, why did you choose orcs over all the other options?
It's my favorite fantasy race that exists across all fiction that I've ever read. I actually have like a library in my house, and I got a ton of orc books. I've loved them since I was a kid. So I was gonna pick them no matter what. I do also like several of the other factions, but orcs are where I'm gonna stay.
Oh, what do you think your top 5 are then?
I like the Black Templars. Ooh. I like the Krieg. The orcs. I love the Noise Marines a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I just like how they look.
Cool.
And probably Deadshot, help me out here. What does Steve-O paint? Are they like, oh man. They've got really, really great models and giant, huge shoulder pauldrons and big plumes. What are those? Iron Warriors, yeah.
Ah, nice. That's, really cool shout. Attilia asks, do you think the difference between cheap sable and expensive sable is as big as synthetic, as big as synthetic and cheap?
So like how different it is? Yes. Because there's a filament at the top, at the very tip that you can't see. It's invisible to your naked eye. And it's going to make a difference in how the paint flows out onto the model. Now that said, synthetic versus hair depends on the type of paint you're using. You really should avoid using hair, except like sable is fine because it's water repellent. It's water repelling fur, but other hairs will absorb about 40% of their weight in water.
Oh,
so
wow.
you want to use that with the oil-based paint, actually. Yeah. But there is a difference. I've seen it. You can definitely feel it in the brush. But it's not enough that unless you're trying to be like the best painter that exists ever, it's really not enough of a difference for the average miniature painter to need to buy a brush that's $70, right? You can buy one of the $25 ones and get a really great finish with that.
Totally. KB asks, where have you been with this information before I started painting Gaz for Ixios?
I was avoiding getting into Warhammer because I was like, that sounds like super nerdy and weird. And then I got into it. I'm like, it is, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's true, but it's great. Critical asks, is Miss Crits allowed to paint her orcs purple, or will they disappear?
She's allowed to paint her orcs purple. They will not disappear, but they will be sneaky.
I love it. Dink asks, what Warhammer orc book would you recommend reading? I'm assuming that's the start.
All of them. Yeah, to start. So I have a book list pinned on my profile, you guys, of the orc books in order. And I have updated it since to add some of the newer books in there. Gazkul Thraka Prophet was the best one to start with. My favorite is Catachan Devil, but I love all of them. I have not been disappointed at all with an orc book yet. They have all been vastly entertaining, especially the audiobook. I have read and listened to them all.
Wow. So. That must have taken some time. I love it. Dad Hammer says, my little girl Frankie absolutely loves you. What advice would you give your younger orky self?
Oh, I love Frankie, first of all. And I just keep that spark, stay... Like, I feel like younger me would think I am so cool now, and I'm so here for that, right?
Love it.
I wanted orc stuff. I wanted orc figures and, like, pictures of them. I loved them, right? I always did. Favorite fantasy race. That was not a thing that you could find like you can find now, right? And there's still, like, not enough. But I would say stay brutal, stay cunning, right? It was how I was raised. It's worked out very well for me. My dad was really like wanted me to just be myself and have the strength of character to be able to do that no matter what. And so I'm going to be unapologetically myself, and the right people will come to you when you are. So
I love that. Really, really great advice. St. Anger asks, what is the legend behind the purple orcs?
So it was a fan-based thing. It was a meme. But it is actually mentioned in one of the books. I believe it's mentioned in Grotsnick briefly, and it's mentioned, I think, briefly in Catachan Devil, just a passing thing where they're like, oh, extra sneaky, right? In Grotsnick, it's mentioned as being the opposite of yellow, which it is on the color wheel. And Valton uses that as executive reasoning to be like, well, if they got me with this syringe and it made me feel tired, maybe this syringe will offset that because it's the opposite, right? But so orcs can see purple. They, it's something that they're adding in for funsies because it was a really, really big popular meme. But it was just a meme because everyone's like, I've never seen a purple orc. They must be extra sneaky. And then it devolved into this. And, I'll listen, haha. But, every now and again, I'm like, okay.
Love it. Mr. Detail, which is a bit embarrassing, says, what's the best tasting paint and why does different paint taste different?
Probably the additives in it. I hear that Nuln oil is the best, but I can't speak to the rest of them. There's so many to try. I just haven't gotten that far.
Atilia says, what's your top painting medium that you would recommend? Extender, flow improver, etc. What kind of would you recommend? Or is it all just water?
So they have their different additives. I'd have to look at the technical data sheets, which they don't have to, or the safety data sheets, which they don't have to provide to us because they're in such a small volume to know what their differences are. Honestly, every acrylic paint that you're going to see, unless it says that it is solvent based, you're going to get water based paint. Citadel, Pro Acryl, all of those are water based paints every time. If it's in an aerosol can, it's a solvent based paint. Even if they're putting it in later on because they're using solvent to propel the paint through, it's going to be considered solvent based at that point. You can't put a water based medium in an aerosolized can and have it work properly. But you can add a whole bunch of stuff to it. Honestly, I don't think that that's necessary. to get, like, maybe for some certain effects, if you're trying to have a crackle happen or something like that, some weathering pigments, but you can just thin down your paints with water and you're going to be able to make desired effects that way.
Nice. I like that little myth busted. Deadshot says, orcs are known to steal Imperium vehicles. If you were to have your boys steal a vehicle, what would it be?
I'm taking your Bane Blade, Deadshot. That is the Death Skulls particularly who steal those things. Just saying.
Oh, I love that. Do you think Grots need tanks back?
Yes. I love Grot tanks. They're so cute. I want them.
That is adorable. I want to paint one of those. Atilia asks, who's your favourite painter?
Juan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy is amazing. If I got to talk about, like, you know, just presence and overall, like, execution.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, really amazing artist. I says, cause they're the best. Salamanders because they're green. Iron Warriors. Advice for someone starting the hobby next week.
Oh my gosh, I have a video. Please message me. Where it, like, breaks down what you need to start, every little thing, the snips, the files, whatever. Advice: dive in. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't paint things how you want, because you can. Especially the orcs. Okay. Just go with it. Do it how you want. You know, if anybody's got an issue with how you're painting, it's the rule of cool. That's the best part. It's the rule of cool. You do what you want, and it's always going to turn out awesome.
Definitely.
And orcs scale the best. So you can paint an orc terribly or very well, and it's still going to look right proper orky. Yeah. Which is the difference between them and other factions.
100% agreed. Elmonka asks, have you read Orcs by Steve Nichols?
Yes, I own that book.
Ooh.
Yes, I was just thinking about it. I was picturing the page in my brain, the cover rather.
Hive Tyrant says cheap sables are often worse than nylons. That's interesting. Ups and Downs says, was there ever a moment where you wanted to quit, and what made you continue, if so?
Yeah, I had some moments. There were times where I was just feeling, like, frustrated with painting, where I was still learning. I'm still learning now, but, you know, trying to figure it out and just getting, you know, but what made me stay actually is all of you guys. Like, that's why I do painting lives, is because I'm like, I want to sit down and paint, and it's more fun to paint with my friends. So I'm going to get on and talk to everybody, whether it's a Discord call or a live or however it goes, so that I can communicate with everyone, see what they're working on. It's kind of like hanging out with your friends after school when you were in high school, right? We used to go play D&D at the coffee shop. Now I get to do a live show with my buddies online and paint and talk to everybody. And so inspiring other people helps me stay, like, active in it and wanting to do it.
I totally agree. I feel like it can be quite a solitary hobby if you're not doing something like this, and that can sometimes creep into people, can't it? But I think definitely this whole kind of let's all paint in a big group is so beneficial to so many people. KB Paint says, how's the orc shed going?
Oh, it's awesome. I now need to fix the skylights, because when it rains, I'm like, oh, there's a drop, and it doesn't land on my, like, but it lands on my leg. I'm like, no, this isn't going to work.
If it's landing on your model mid-paint.
Right? I'd freak out. You know, I need to insulate the doors better. And then I just more decorating, I need terrain so that we can host games. So I can have people come over. I really just want to have people come to the shed and hang out and hobby with me. So that and more decorations. I like decorations. Maximalist all the way.
I really, really love that. Ooh, that's done a weird thing. Let's go back. Where's that gone? There we go. Do you have a least favorite orc in lore?
I mean, there's some orcs out there that kind of suck. Honestly, hmm, no. No, I don't. I'd have to really think about it. They're all kind of funny and they all have their purpose. So I'm like, they're pretty entertaining, each one of them. I mean, even when you're like, God, that guy's such a turd, but you're like, but I mean,
But he's cool because of this, yeah. It's like choosing a favorite child, I guess, isn't it?
yeah. I love all of my children. Blood axes.
Got the favorite though. Apart from Gazgul Thracker, who is the best goth character?
Ooh, oh God, what's his name? Mag Deadfist from Warboss. I like him.
Oh, sorry, I've got to get through all the talking between. Tom asks, let's hear your best wah.
I am in an office. There's people all around me. They'd be like, what is she doing in there?
I love that. Chad says, what is your favorite nerdy podcast?
The Nerdy Old Men podcast. Actually, so I used to really love the last podcast on the left. Until Benjamin Kissel left, he was like the reason I enjoyed it. I found in later episodes, and then I really like Crime Junkie. For any of you guys into true crime, big fan of that. But I don't listen to many like just nerdy ones. Honestly, I probably should.
I like that. KB asks, what is one orc fact or lore that you think is the most interesting?
That they've devolved and they're re-evolving. And that they're the fungal aspect of it is my favorite part. I mean, they're just like, if you think about it, even if you exterminatus a planet, those spores can travel and live and land and make more orcs. Like, you're just never going to get rid of them.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it just kind of makes them impossible to beat, doesn't it?
Right. You'll never completely beat them.
I love it. Tom asks, any advice for someone entering their first mini competition?
Ooh, don't if you don't win, right? Don't let that discourage you. All right. Practice makes perfect. A lot of people that are doing that have been painting for decades. All right. Use what you learn, pay attention to the advice you're given. Ask painters who are better than you for advice. Like, they want to help you. Check out tutorials. But don't get discouraged. That's a big one. A lot of people feel like because they didn't win that their model is terrible, when in reality, your model is awesome. Okay, this guy is also awesome though. And he's probably put in more time, more hours, more training. Or it was just a more interesting piece. It doesn't mean that you're not good, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to win. Keep it up. Keep going.
KB asks, how do you communicate with people on live? My first attempt didn't go that well. It did, KB.
Oh, KB, you just keep talking. The biggest struggle, especially when you don't have a full group of people, which is why I like to fill the boxes up, because then somebody's paying attention to chat. Like, we used to have moderators, and then we got all of our moderators into doing Warhammer. So now they're all painting and building Warhammer, and nobody's actually moderating. But just keep talking. When no one's in there, just keep talking. You're a talking head. People are scrolling by. They're watching you. And I know it's kind of weird and awkward and hard to do. Get a friend and coerce them and force them to get into the box with you. Like, you're coming on a live with me. And that way you guys have some discourse while you're waiting for more people to come in there. But just don't stop talking. And when you get focused on painting, you're going to miss out on people commenting in there. So it's kind of hard. When you go and do a painting live, expect to not get any work done.
I mean, just for reference as well, we all love KB, and he had 10 people in his first ever live stream. That's great. I think he bossed it. It was amazing. Vivid says, what do you do to remedy painting burnout?
Bug my friends. That I'm grateful that I have friends. Hey, we going live tonight? Hey, you painting tonight? Hey, you whatever. Because if they weren't, there were times where I'd be like, I'm tired. I'm going to sit on the couch. Or I need to do some adulting or some other thing. I will keep myself busy always. So get your friends involved in it with you, or find people who paint and make friends with them too, so that you guys can kind of hold each other to it. Because once you start doing it, you're like, all right, this is great. Like, I don't know why I didn't want to, you know. If you're struggling with a particular model, paint a different model. Put that one down.
Love that. And Dink asks, do you have any advice for mentally preparing yourself for a painting competition?
You are the best. Look in the mirror, tell yourself you're awesome, right? And that it doesn't take away your value if you don't win the competition. You're still valuable, you're still good at what you do, and it's a learning opportunity every single time. Like, don't go win it to win it necessarily. I mean, yeah, like put your best effort in, but do it just to do it, just to be a part of it, just to say that you did. And then you're challenging yourself, right? Instead of, you know, worrying so much about the outcome that you're stressing out about that, and then you're not doing your best work.
Definitely. Aaron says, is that a work war or a personal war?
Is it a what?
Is it a work war or a personal war?
It's a work war.
GM says, if you could sit down for dinner with 3 characters from Warhammer, who is it?
Gazkul Taraka.
Nice.
That Makari comes too, and that counts as one. Grimaldus from the Black Templars. And Eisenhorn. I almost said Titus, but Eisenhorn. Yeah.
St. Angus says, what's your opinion on Farsight, the green skin slayer?
Beautiful model. Like, absolutely beautiful model. And honestly, the harder the enemy, the more the orcs like them. So Farsight's the man.
Oh, this is detail shush. Eyes Like Mars says, how's Oni Clans going?
Oh, it's great. All clans all the time. Just orcs.
Critical says, have you made the pilgrimage to Warhammer World? And I want to ask, are you planning on doing it at any point?
I haven't made the pilgrimage there yet. I do have a passport. They are making one in the United States. But I probably will. I mean, I want to travel. Like, I want to leave the US and go visit other places. I think that would be excellent. I hear you guys have great tea over there. I do like tea. So, you know, I'd be happy to visit and go check it out and just get to be in the place where it started, right?
Yeah, totally. Not asking that, KB. Yeah, someone's saying they have to wait for the US store. Drauga asks, what's your biggest Warhammer? Hear me out.
Listen, guys. My friends told me that I'm allowed to like Big, Dumb, and Ugly, but I can't date it anymore, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Anonymous says, what do you do if you get super glue on your fingers and you get into a sticky situation?
Well, ouch. Super glue doesn't melt things together. It's a bonder in between. So if your fingers are like stuck, I would take like a file or something and start working through and abrasing it to get it off, personally.
Hive says acetone, and I do think that is, a good point. I've super glued myself to quite a few things.
You don't want just straight acetone. Maybe your lady or someone in your home has nail polish remover, same thing. So
Vivid says, do you think Gorkamorka needs to come back?
Yes.
Set fire to what? Apparently people are setting fire things. Thank you, Eyes. Thank you for the heartbeat. I don't think it's going to be the end of the questions, and we do have 5 more minutes, but oh, there we go. Up and Down says, what other than orcs draws you to the hobby?
So I actually love to sculpt. It is something that I do just outside of everything else. It was a big thing for me in high school. I really got into it in college too. But it brings together a lot of my favorite hobbies separately. I'm building, I'm painting, I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm playing a game, right? And it's having me be social. It's having me get out of the house instead of just being like, my house needs to be spotless. If there's a crumb on the floor, I'm going to freak out. Like, and just, spending all this energy just being a parent and being an adult. I get to go back and be like, you know what? Who said that because I'm an adult, I got to stop having fun? Like, that's silly. I'm going to go and hang out with my friends. And why did I ever stop? You know what I mean? So I think that that's like the best part of it for me.
I tell you, me and my friend call it going to the park when we go on live stream together, because we're essentially going to the park and meeting up like we did as kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Super Dude says, do you think the 2 oversized orcs held by Slanesh could be Gorky?
Oh, Gork and Mork?
Yeah.
No.
Assuming so. No. Who do you think they are?
I think I'm not sure, actually. That's a good question.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Chad, and thank you, KB. KB says, what's your favourite thing to do aside from the hobby?
I love to read. I used to read about 53 books a year, big books. I also like to go like rock hounding. Where I live, you can find all sorts of crystals and things like that. I like to go find cool rocks. I have a lot of like hobbies. I like plants. I've got quite a large vine here in my office, and then 2 more in the meeting room. So lots of things.
Is the song Baby Got Back based on orc minis?
I mean, it used to be. They don't really have that anymore. They took their booties away. It's an outrage.
Oh, I love that. Vivid said, do you paint any other orcs that aren't Warhammer?
I didn't really enjoy building or painting the resin miniatures that I've tried. I don't know if it's the weight. I don't know if it's just how it adheres to it. I don't know. I've just been really, really into the Warhammer models personally.
They feel very sturdy as well, Warhammer models, I find. I think we'll make this the last one because I'm very conscious that you are on your lunch break and you do have to get back. But Ups and Downs says, who is your mentor, the one person that helped guide you at the beginning?
Oh, Travis at the Warhammer store, my Warhammer manager. That guy's awesome. He's so cool. I had him drawn as an orc and brought it to him in a record. Yeah. He loved it.
Really cool.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
That's really, really amazing. I just wanted to thank you so much again for being our finale for Mini Masters.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you so much for asking all those questions. Thank you everybody who's coming in to watch. I think this is the most people I've ever had in a Mini Masters live, so thank you again. Thank you to all of the gifts and any comments that we missed. I'm really sorry, it's been a bit crazy. Oh no, Marty finale. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And please, if you don't already, which I don't know why you'd be following me and not Sam, but please go follow Sam if you don't already. Thanks. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate you. Thank you.